Hey, so in anticipation for the big game, we decided to get together to talk about what is potentially going to happen in these games, what our picks are going to be, who do we think we're going to win, and then also some good fodder that we can grasp from all of the different narratives that's surrounding the Super Bowl this year between the Chiefs and the Eagles. If you guys don't know, my name is Donovan. I'm on staff here at Living Word, and to my right we have
Aaron. How you doing, Donovan?
doing pretty good. Pretty good.
Good to be with you today. Good to be with you, Jay.
I'm Jay. Thank you for that kind introduction.
All right, so super quick introductions, but we're going to jump right into it. So stick around to hear our predictions and what it is that we believe is going to happen in the game. We're going to start off just a little bit differently. So our culture is, I guess, very individualistic, especially after COVID. People are staying inside. We aren't, in conversation or around people as much as we like. We're getting there, but we're not there yet. So what do we think about the Super Bowl as being like one of the last true communal experiences?
Oh, yeah. Well, it really is. And it's around here, around Living Word, we've got a big event that we do as a family event. It's become something big for my family. It's interesting in our culture how much this has just become something that dominates our thinking about where you're going to be during the game and who are you going to gather with, what are you going to eat, and we restructure for that time of connection, enjoyment.
I think I saw a statistic that said that 90% of TVs will have the Super Bowl on.
Wow.
So, when was the last time you actually were able to have a conversation with a group of more than 4 people where you were all watching the same show? I'm probably watching something on HBO Max, you're watching something on Netflix, you're watching something on Hulu. Yeah. We have so many different options. This is the last thing where everybody is watching at the same time. Now, inside of that, people are probably watching for different reasons. Half the people are watching for the commercials. I'm sure there's, all due respect to Rihanna, I'm sure she's going to be fantastic. Not why I'm tuning in, but there's people who are going to be really excited to watch that, and then there's the game itself.
Yep.
So but on either side of it, we can record a podcast like this because people are talking about the game before it starts. When the game is over, people are going to be talking about that and the commercials and maybe what happens at the halftime show.
Yeah.
Because we know there have been moments, right?
Yeah. I do remember this happening my whole life. It was the late 80s. I forget when the Denver Broncos were in the Super Bowl in 1989, maybe. And I remember, it was a huge gathering.
They lost many Super Bowls in the 80s, so it could have been one of those years.
Yeah, so was Dan Marino. But I remember there was my wife and I were part of a young adult ministry in the late 80s, dating myself there a little bit. But yeah, we had a gathering of about 30 people to see the game.
Man. And those people were probably all over the place.
Yeah.
Yeah, some people watch the game, people invested, and then there's just people nope, it's just an excuse to throw a party.
Exactly.
Well, speaking of party, what's the go-to Super Bowl food?
That's what I was going to ask, because I think this is different for everyone.
Philly cheesesteaks.
I say wings.
I'm going to go wings, or I usually make a giant thing of chili.
Chili. Okay.
You can't go wrong with nachos, though.
It's true.
Yeah.
Also, a little bit of chili on nachos if it's the right kind of chili.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, if it's the right kind of chili, yeah. Pizza's a good go-to.
Absolutely.
Feeds many people.
Absolutely. I feel bad for the people doing delivery, though, during the Super Bowl. Man, that's wow.
They can't watch the game.
Tip them well.
Yeah, definitely.
Tip them well.
I would like to throw in a little ring in there as well. Dorsum, who's behind the camera, is a fan of buffalo chicken dip during the game. So, the buffalo chicken dip.
That's making my mouth water right now.
It's fine.
Oh, okay.
It's nothing wrong with it. Just not my go-to.
Okay.
I'd rather just have a wing.
Got you. Yeah,
But
hot barbecue, wings are definitely my go-to. But yeah, this communal experience is one of the last ones because everybody's not watching it like you said, the same network television or anything like that. So we'll all be in some place watching this game, eating some variety of cheesesteaks and wings and
I do want to say, just throw this out there. I mean, Bachelor and Bachelorette, that's a communal experience. I mean, it is. I mean, I actually don't participate, but
Neither do I.
but
I'm forced to.
but I have 5 daughters. All right, so and I will say that, I mean, on I forget what night of the week it is, Monday nights or whatever. When it's playing, it's a communal event.
Yeah. There are a few. You know, like I think the last one I can think about is like the last season of Stranger Things.
Yeah.
Right. But like I feel like they're harder to come by and they're fewer far between. But the one thing you can set your clock by it's going to be the Super Bowl.
Definitely going to be the Super Bowl. Definitely going to be the Super Bowl. Yeah. All right. So in this huge communal experience as well, history is being made in many different ways. But one of the ways that history is being made is there's 2 black quarterbacks that are starting in the Super Bowl for the first time in NFL history.
Yeah, man.
Which is amazing. I was recalling the first black quarterback to win the Super Bowl was Doug Williams, and I believe it was like 87. Russell Wilson, Patrick Mahomes, and then this year it's going to be the next black quarterback to win the Super Bowl. It's the first time 2 black quarterbacks are leading in the Super Bowl. And I think that, for one, it's important as well because traditionally the black quarterback was seen as not being mentally capable of being a quarterback. So we, look over the history of our country and over this game. It was thought of that black quarterbacks had talent, but they didn't have the mental capacity to get their team over the hump to be a credible quarterback. But now we're seeing 2 heading, and 2 young guys as well.
2 young, yeah. And to add another layer to that, maybe a couple more layers, 2 guys that people have noted for a long time, Mahomes' leadership. And also, he's younger, but Hurts' leadership as well. And these 2 guys that are finalists for MVP, which is, I think, obviously Mahomes was the front runner, but 2 black quarterbacks with good leadership and finalists for the MVP.
Yeah, and I mean, like, you just look at it, you've gone from, obviously Wilson winning, and like that's all incredible. You have, I'm losing the name. When you were talking about that, the thing I thought about immediately was, do you guys remember when Lamar Jackson was coming out? And Bill Polian's comments about him, how like he shouldn't be drafted as a quarterback, draft him as an athlete, move him out of position because he just can't handle it. And like, that's kind of just been the mentality. Unless you're Michael Vick and you can fit the stereotype of the running quarterback who's mobile, like and the irony there is that's exactly what Lamar Jackson was.
Yeah.
I watched Lamar Jackson in college, and he always impressed me more with his arm. And now he's an MVP. Obviously, he's dealing with some injuries now, but you look at we just had a generation of quarterbacks retire. I mean, as of recording of this, Tom Brady retired yesterday. Like, the paradigm has shifted, but we've lost Drew Brees, we've lost Tom Brady, we've lost Peyton Manning, we've lost Eli Manning,
and others,
and others, and the people who are jumping up to take those places, aside from maybe Joe Burrow and Josh Allen, are all young black quarterbacks, and they're playing in a different style than what the stereotype has been, and they're crushing it.
Yeah. Well said.
Yeah, I think a lot of it also boils down to just opportunity.
Yeah,
man, if people have limits or ideas about who you are or what you're capable of, lack of opportunity will potentially prove them essentially right to themselves. But if you get the opportunity to play, and I think these young quarterbacks are taking the opportunity and running with it. And just all young quarterbacks just in general. So just giving people sometimes the opportunity to show you what they have is vitally important.
Right.
Yeah. It's really cool, though, especially with these 2. Like, we probably don't have time to unpack all of it, but both of them have incredible stories, not just of like getting to the pinnacle of the Super Bowl now, but like overcoming ridiculous odds to get there. So, I mean, like Mahomes in particular, like, nobody thought that he would be a successful quarterback. There never had been a successful quarterback from the Big 12, period. I don't care if you're black or white, right? And Andy Reid saw something to the point of trading up, 10, 12 spots, giving up a ton of draft capital to come up. He saw exactly what Mahomes was going to be, and he's been that from day one.
Yep.
But, I mean, Mahomes, he could have been a pro baseball player. He probably could have been a pro basketball player. I think I heard somewhere that like he was actually in high school. He was better at basketball than anything else.
Wow, I didn't know that.
I didn't know that either.
Yeah,
Wow.
like it's insane. So he leans into this. He tries it. Puts up obscene numbers at Texas Tech, and everybody forgets that Cliff Kingsbury was his coach there. Baker Mayfield was there too. This is an insane program before he went to Oklahoma. That's actually why he went to Oklahoma.
Wow.
But yeah, and even Jalen Hurts leaving Alabama after being taken. Tua overtook him, right? He lost his job to Tua. Didn't get to
Right.
play in the national championship game. Transfers to Oklahoma, and Aaron, you're an Eagles fan. You've seen. He didn't have the job to start, right?
No, he really didn't. He had to beat out Joe Flacco early on for the spot.
Let's be honest. I mean, all due respect to the legend.
Okay, so here's something interesting though. Back in so not to get ahead of ourselves, but if you go back to October of 2021, the Eagles actually faced the Chiefs, and the Chiefs won. But it was a really, really good game, and I think it was one of the first games because it was only the fourth game that Sirianni and Hurts were together. It ended up being a great sort of window into what could be with Hurts. He played strong. I mean, I think there was like three scores that were wiped away because of different penalties, et cetera. But it was a close game. Hurts played amazing, and of course, Mahomes was fantastic. But I think it might have been a little bit of a preview. Of
I think he threw 5 touchdowns in that game.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah. Regular day.
Just 5.
Regular day.
Yeah, no, I mean, full confession, I did not think coming into this year, I did not think Hurts was going to be where he is now. Like,
I don't think anybody did. I don't think
no,
one
not
saw
to this
this.
level, but like I didn't even know if I thought he might lose his job to Minshew at some point because I didn't think he could do it with his arm.
Yeah.
Everywhere, like he's a solid passer, but like what he did to upgrade himself in this area,
I think it surprised
this year,
everybody.
it's incredible.
Yeah.
It's not just that we missed it. Like he keeps seeing the obstacles and saying, "No, I'm going to level up and prove you wrong."
Yeah.
There's some people who just have the natural talent and then forgot the opportunity. He kind of he overcame those hurdles, but then also said, "No, I'm not done improving." And honestly, I'm not saying Patrick Mahomes isn't a hard worker, but I have no doubt that Hurts has worked harder to get where he is now.
Yeah. Yeah, I would say let's stay right there for a little bit. Talking about the leadership. So we have two guys, 2 quarterbacks, and I believe 2 coaches that are really good leaders from different people's perspectives. And you have 2 very hardworking guys. And you talk about Hurts. I also heard he can squat a house as
600
well.
pounds, yeah.
Yeah. So you talking work ethic. How their teammates talk about them, their road to get here. Like Jay just hinted at, Hurts' road to get here is remarkable.
Yeah.
You talk about someone being in college, losing their job in the biggest game on the biggest stage.
Right.
Then instead of letting it fold him, goes to another program,
A top tier program.
a top tier program,
Yeah.
wins the job,
Yeah.
gets far beyond what people expect him to go to, gets drafted. People don't think he's going to be anything. Goes to the Eagles. They're like, hey, he won't, get beyond this point. I was actually one of those people that thought that as well, and exceed expectations again.
Yeah.
You talk about someone that's a person that perseveres. My goodness,
Incredible focus.
Yeah,
And he has really kept things simple. He has, to me, he models the way. Not that, not that it's the way, but it's a way. And he's really good at modeling. Not like it's modeling everybody play exactly like Hurts on the team, but with his spirit, with his tenacity, with his sort of his simplicity of vision and focus. I think that's one of the hallmarks of his leadership is he really gets out there and models the way for the rest of the team. And I will say, I feel like the level of belief the coach has in him, and also the Philly fan base. I'm part of it, and it's a tough fan base, and I know
Some would say legendary.
yes, for many reasons.
it's fraud. It's fraud.
We'll get there in a minute.
And I know, that also, of course, the flip side of that, the shadow side is you start losing, and Philly's going to turn on you. Okay, so but the city really has rallied around him. I think there's something about his spirit, his mentality, his demeanor that really resonates. Yeah, in that market. But I think it's bigger than that. If people can get over their disdain for the Philadelphia Eagles.
It's tough. Yeah, but I mean, I think it's really interesting too. I think the teams that have had success lately, like before, it was you have your Belichicks and your Bradys who just have been there perpetually. But like outside of that, there is no other active. I'm almost positive on this stat. I should double check it, but I'm not going to. There's no other active coach in the NFL that has more than one quarterback, more than one Super Bowl win. So it just tells you how hard it is to win a Super Bowl. Andy Reid has, he had his time with the Eagles, got so close so many times and didn't quite cross the line.
Yeah,
is 1-1 with the Chiefs, gets to see what end they go up on there. But like you look at, just like we talked about how the next generation of quarterbacks are coming up, we have the next generation of coaches. And so many of these young coaches are being paired with these young quarterbacks, and they're growing together, right? Yeah. So we saw it last year with Zach Taylor and Burrow, who they almost made it again. Yep. The future is bright there. You saw it with McVay, and he did it, he got to the Super Bowl with Jared Goff, who is not a great quarterback, and then, got Stafford to go over. And just a side note, did you see the couple games that McVay had with Baker Mayfield, who we all kind of cast off as gone?
Saw the highlights.
Yeah, a couple of them.
Yeah, McDermott and Josh Allen, like all of these things. But it's the same thing you see there with Sirianni and Hurts. Like they are growing together, they're figuring this out, and they're building a system that plays to their quarterback strengths. Like, it's saying, hey, for all the ways that Hurts upgraded his throwing, I think one of the reasons he did that is because Sirianni constructed a run game and created a front offensive line that just allowed for one of the best run games in the NFL and took the pressure off of his quarterback.
Yeah.
Right? Setting your player up for success instead of just asking him to go out and do something that they're not capable of. And I may be wearing my emotions on my sleeve as a Jets fan and looking at my quarterback failures over my whole life. But that's fine.
Yep.
What's it like, Aaron? Is it nice?
Well, yeah, this is amazing. This is the second time in, was it 5 years, 6, that the Eagles are finding themselves.
You want a Super Bowl with Nick Foles, all right?
Yes.
But like even in that, like I know it's sports, but man, that's
Philly.
such a good leadership like lesson in that is, hey, how do you create an environment for who it is that you have to thrive as much as they possibly can, instead of making them.
And Reed did the same thing with Mahomes.
Yeah,
like
Lamar Jackson,
but like the fact that Patrick Mahomes, who is honestly, I will say it, the best quarterback I've ever seen.
I agree.
Right, like Brady is the GOAT. He has accomplished more, but just on the field, watching what he has done, right? Mahomes is the best quarterback I've ever seen. He sat an entire year behind Alex Smith.
That's amazing. That really is.
Right?
Yeah.
That is Reed saying, sit here, learn, figure it out. And then he jumped in, and he lost the AFC Championship game his first rookie year by this much in Foxborough to Tom Brady, and then won the Super Bowl the next year.
Yeah.
Yep.
Right? That is – so it's really interesting. You have Reed, who's kind of old guard coaching leadership. You have Sirianni, who's new, but they're both providing opportunities for their quarterback to succeed and lean into their strengths with very, very different personalities, at least from what I can tell.
Sure.
I mean, you've experienced both of them as your head coach.
Right.
Like, what do you see as different between their coaching styles and personalities?
Well, now Sirianni has learned a lot from Reed, right? And it's a huge difference. I mean, so Andy Reid was with the Eagles. He was with that franchise for 14 years, 13 seasons. Took him to 4, was it consecutive playoffs, and 1 Super Bowl. They didn't win. That was the Patriots. And I'll tell you what, I witnessed that moment where Philadelphia really began to turn and sour on Andy Reid. And I forgot your question.
No, it's just I look at it. You look at the sideline, like, Andy Reid is just this, like, he's not like jovial, but he's incredibly chill, kind of this plump man who loves talking about barbecue and going to McDonald's after game for his double cheeseburger.
Yes.
And and then you look at Sirianni on the sideline, and he's a crazy person.
Wow, man.
Like, he is leaning into the
absolute
Philly
opposite.
dynamic.
Yeah.
Right, riling up the crowd, booing fans on the road. I'm like,
Yes.
which is
Smiling, laughing, high-fiving, chest bumping,
which is really
doing a little bit of egging on.
a little bit, and it's great when you're a really good team and you get to do that. It'll be,
right.
If you start losing, it becomes a different conversation. Yeah. But yeah, it's just different leadership styles. I think they both have locker rooms that love them. I think their guys are bought in on the vision of what they're trying to do. Completely different personalities and styles.
Yeah, and it works for where it is that they are, for the people that they're leading, because we just see the results of it, and they've created a culture throughout their leadership styles as well.
That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For people to, I think, thrive as best as they can. So that's very interesting. But sticking with like the Eagles, we talked about opportunity. We talked about leadership. So let's talk about the leadership that presented or stopped opportunities for Eagles fans to climb poles, right? So the leadership of Philadelphia to grease poles so that Eagles fans don't climb them no matter whether they win or lose a game. Shout out to Jay. I love that title about the greasing the poles. But
yes, so just to catch our audience up, as we were brainstorming what we were going to talk about here, and I just threw out the possibility of a topic. I called it Grease the Poles, the ethical conundrum of being a pastor and Eagles fan. So, Aaron, how do you rectify this chaos with, Jesus?
I just know that God has called me into a broken and hurting world.
Amen.
And to just go into that, realizing that I too am broken and I need grace. I need mercy.
We're called to go into the whole world, even the darkest, dankest pits. Who, may riot whether you win or lose.
yeah.
Okay. So I kind of I do feel a lot of identification with that team, but truth be told, I was raised all over America. My dad was Air Force. We never really landed in one place for very long, and I never really identified with a team. And when we got here 20 years ago, I just for some reason didn't see myself following the Western PA sports teams and Pittsburgh teams and Baltimore. And so I just started gravitating toward Philly. And it maybe sounds a little artificial at first because I've never really lived in Philly. But here in York, it's just, I don't know, it's always been for me, for the past 20 years, it's been my team.
Well, this was, you answer that with immense grace and the pastoral heart that we knew what you would. And just, we tried setting you up and it didn't work. So, well done. But I mean,
we've got a few more minutes.
Self-confession here. I mean, Donovan and I are both Jets fans.
Yep.
We are New York fans. You're from New York. I'm from New Jersey. Let's be honest. All of our fan bases are jerks. We have different brands of jerk, and I lean a little bit stronger towards the New York brand than the Philadelphia brand.
Yeah.
I did see the Empire State Building had made
that is treason.
Eagles colors.
It's treason.
Yeah, I did.
Whoever did that should be fired.
And
I'm sorry.
A really nice Kelly green.
Yeah,
that
it
was a nice touch.
Unacceptable.
Yeah, that wasn't
somebody lost a bet or something.
Yeah, that wasn't nice. No. That was not nice at all, man. All right.
I have heard it's a mistake to put the opposing team's jersey on the Rocky statue.
So Travis Kelce actually called for them to not do that this time. Do you think Philly is going to listen? People in Philly, because I don't think it's Philly
people
fans.
in Philly now they're just watching it happen because apparently each time a team does it, they don't fare so well.
Yeah.
So I don't believe in like
my understanding is it is fans of the opposing team who are trying to do it. So
yes.
if it happens, my guess is it will be a Philly fan trolling. Maybe they need to grease the Rocky statue.
That's great.
Oh my goodness, everything getting greased up.
Spray down the whole city, guys.
Yeah. My goodness, I wonder what the solution.
All that cheesesteak grease
it's probably Whiz. It might be some Whiz oil. That's probably what it is.
Could be. I was reading this
cheese Whiz oil.
Some Google Trend data, as one does, and it was about Eagles fans searching for when is the Super Bowl parade, and they want to know.
All right.
But they haven't scheduled it yet, because we haven't had the Super Bowl yet.
Did you get your tattoo yet?
No.
Just Super Bowl. I don't know, I don't even know what number it is. Well, Super Bowl, whatever,
Actually,
champion.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen those? Like people
It's
get the
50,
presumptive tattoos. It's just on your body.
Yeah.
I will say in 2018 it was the Thursday after the Super Bowl. So I mean, if that's it's not a
You going to go this year if they win?
yeah.
Good for you.
Yeah, I
That's
think I
right.
would. Yeah.
Don't clown those polls. Okay. All right. So let's get into our picks. Who do you have winning this year's Super Bowl?
All right.
Gee, Aaron, I wonder
Well,
who do you have winning the Super Bowl?
So guys,
And predictions.
Yesterday, I gave my dad a call, and I said, so my dad is a KU alum and diehard Chiefs guy, and he's been Andy Reid, Mahomes super fan for the longest time, and so I said, Dad, I need a soundbite. I'm going to do a little bit of a podcast with a couple of my friends, and he said, okay, I got a soundbite for you, and he had the boldness or the audacity, maybe the temerity to say that the Chiefs are going to utterly destroy the Eagles. He said, Aaron, it's going to be 45-10 Chiefs. And I said, no, I'm picking up my jaw off the floor, and I said, Dad. And he's like, now, Aaron, look, it could. I put this down in quotes. I typed it out in my phone in my notes app because I couldn't believe what he was saying. He said, Aaron, it could be close if it ends up being a hard-fought game that is just two dogs fighting it out in the trenches, but I don't think so. I think the Chiefs are going to punch the Eagles in the mouth, and they're going to go up 21-0 immediately and then keep climbing to 45-10. I said, Dad, that's my team. And he said, Andy Reid is an offensive guru. Mahomes is magic. This next part, my dad said just verbatim. He said, Valdez-Scantling caught a touchdown pass with 4 minutes and 15 seconds left in the third quarter when the score was tied with Cincy, and Scantling was in the end zone, didn't even know that he had caught the ball. He didn't even know he'd caught the ball.
It's true.
That is right.
And then he gave me these stats. He's talking about Mahomes. He said, most wins through the first 75 starts. In NFL history, 59. Most passing yards through the first 75 games in NFL history, 22,500 and some change. Most passing touchdowns through the first 75 games in NFL history, 180. And highest passer rating through the first 75 games in NFL history, 105.
Okay. Before you go on, because I feel like there's going to be an enormous but coming. One, I've never met your dad. Really smart guy.
Yes.
Two, I think you had a Freudian slip when you called Andy Reid an offensive coach instead of an offensive coach. So that might
That was.
yes,
There was.
that's fine. But man, wow.
My prediction? Okay. So that's what you asked for?
Yes.
Okay. So first, I'm not giving one because I have had the worst track record this year of having bold predictions, okay? You can vouch for that.
I have the receipts.
I thought the
Yes, they're
on my
Seahawks
phone.
were going to beat the 49ers. All right. But here's my inkling, my sense. I think the Eagles are going to mess around and win this thing. Ooh. That's what I think.
Maybe a little Rocky underdog story.
I think we'll see Jalen Hurts and A.J. Brown hoisting the Lombardi Trophy at the end.
Okay.
And I do think it's going to be I think my dad his first impulse was right. I think it will be a hard-fought game. I don't think this is going to be lopsided. I don't think this is going to be I don't know what the score is going to be and no prediction, but my sense is the Eagles are going to win.
Okay.
All right. I actually agree with that. I don't agree with the ultimate result, but I agree with the tenor of the game. I don't think it's a blowout. So here's how I see it happening. Okay. There are questions that need to be answered, and I think will be answered very quickly on a couple different fronts. What is Mahomes' health? Right?
Oof.
What is the Chiefs' wide receivers' health?
Yeah.
Because they were down to 3 by the end of the last game. They have 2 weeks. I'm sure people will figure out what that looks like. Can the Chiefs stop Travis Kelce? Because no one has yet.
The Eagles.
Sorry, yes. Can the Eagles stop Travis Kelce? Because no one has yet. And it hasn't been close. He has obliterated everybody. And most importantly, what are the Chiefs going to do about the Eagles' pass rush? Which is incredible and destroyed Brock Purdy before he even had a chance. Do you know Brock Purdy was 4 for 4 in that game?
Oh. I feel so bad about that.
Yeah, I mean, they were all dump-off passes because he couldn't feel his arm. But perfect passer rating. It was very impressive. 2, on the Eagle side, Hurts needs to throw more than he runs. If he is getting pushed out of the pocket, he's going to get yards, but they're not going to score. He needs to be able to push it in the air. The Eagles' D is incredible, but it needs to look like the Buccaneers 2020 D if they're going to win this game, because that's the team that beat Patrick Mahomes in the Super Bowl. Also, when Patrick Mahomes was on bum leg, and Mahomes almost single-handedly beat him by himself. And that was the best defense we've seen in the last 15 years, and he still almost overcame it hurt.
Wow.
Winning on the trenches of both sides, the Eagles have the better offensive line and a better defensive line. I want to know if Lane Johnson's healthy. He's playing on a ruptured groin. Kudos to that man for getting out of bed in the morning.
I'm telling you.
Right?
But he shut down Joey Bosa last week
Yeah,
on a
yeah,
ruptured groin.
So did Mailata.
Right?
Yeah.
So Chris Jones has been incredible. He's arguably the defensive player of the year this year. Had 15 and a half regular season sacks, destroyed Burrow last week. So I want to see that matchup between Jones and Lane Johnson. If Johnson can slow down Jones, that's going to be huge, right? And in all honesty, here's my biggest point, and this is why I'm taking the Chiefs by 3. All right? Here's all of those things matter. This is the linchpin of my entire argument. Young coaches and young QBs do not win their first Super Bowl. They don't. McVay lost to the Patriots with Goff a couple years ago. I'm going to count the AFC Championship game Mahomes started as their first Super Bowl. I know it wasn't there, but like it was such a close game. It was in Foxborough. It felt like the Super Bowl back in 2018, right? And Burrow didn't win it last year. It is so hard. So the only way the Eagles are going to win is if Sirianni and Hurts pitch a perfect game. They can't make mistakes. They can't get caught up in the moment. It's possible. I just haven't seen it happen. Right? The last time it came close was Big Ben and Mike Tomlin. Second year, they were both second year, and they're the only ones who have ever done it.
Wow. Good insight. Can I pick up on one little
Please.
thing? One thing you said, Sirianni and Hurts pitch a perfect game. That's the only way, and I totally agree. So I think that's what's going to, for the Eagles to win, or for them to even come close to winning, they're going to have to flat out play their best football. The game I mentioned earlier, and if you go back and just watch a little bit of this October game in 2021,
Which I believe the Chiefs
October
won 42-30.
yeah. If you watch that, here's the reason I bring it up. They did make the adjustment. It was early on, 4 games between Sirianni and Hurts. He made the adjustment and he threw. He passed and he passed. Hurts passed the ball. So, but you have to, you have to be able to really be able to make those adjustments on the fly.
I agree. The other thing, and I should have written it down, I just didn't. I'm still not convinced Hurts' shoulder is 100%.
It's not.
He didn't need to throw the ball against the 49ers because of the way the game went, but he didn't. It was all on the ground. So I just don't know. I will take, if there's 2 injuries there, give me Mahomes' limp over Hurts' throwing shoulder.
It's fair.
I think I'll take that as well. A couple other things noted as we wrap up, and we'll do a little announcements before we officially end. But we talk about the run game, clock management. I think if the Eagles do a good job of running the ball, they can keep the ball out of Patrick Mahomes' hand, so he doesn't sling it all across the field.
Do not sleep on my boy on the other side of the ball, though. Isaiah Pacheco, 7th-round pick, pride of Rutgers, New Jersey native. You want to talk about overcoming all odds? Where has Clyde Edwards-Helaire been? 1st-round draft pick, nowhere to be found because he got replaced by a kid from Jersey. Anyway, please continue.
Yep, Pacheco runs hard. Another thing I think on the other side of the ball, though, the Chiefs' defense, I believe, is wildly underrated. I believe they come up with turnovers and they come up with key stops.
They were so good
throughout
last week.
all of the years. Patrick Mahomes is amazing, but every single time they need a key stop,
They're starting
for some
2
reason,
rookie corners.
the Chiefs D gets it. They get it done. They get it done. So, and the rookie, you talk about pass protection. Pass defense, deflections, interceptions. Like, these kids are good. And then another thing that we don't talk about often when we talk about sports is special teams. Positioning on punts, positioning on kickoffs is going to be really crucial in this game, especially for the Eagles, because if they can keep getting in good field position and kick field goals to supplement some of the potentially stagnant offense, then
Did you
we
see
could
the Chiefs
something
punter
different.
last week? He pinned him inside the 7-yard line like 3 times.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was incredible.
Corner kicks are coming back.
Yep.
That was
Corner
masterful.
kicks are coming back.
Taking me back to my Madden days.
Yeah.
Coffin corner practice.
There you go.
Madden 08.
Yep. So with all that being said, for me, I think I'm going to take the Chiefs by 10. Sorry, Aaron. But I'm going to take them 27-17. I do believe that
Yeah,
the Eagles
all right.
are going to score. I believe the Chiefs are going to score as well. But the defense is going to be a lot better than we think. And I have the Chiefs by 10 points. So as we wrap up, any announcements that we want to make?
I didn't give a score. I'll go 30-27. Chiefs by 3.
27. Ooh, that's a good score. Any announcements? Anything's coming up? And just to share with.
Yeah, there's let's see, I think I just heard about this. There's a support group starting up for Cowboys fans and New York fans because of the Eagles
of New
making
York.
it to the Super Bowl, and also out of fear that the Eagles would win the Super Bowl. So that's happening.
Okay.
On another note, February 12th, there's an event right here at Living Word called Big Game in a Movie.
All right.
All right, starts at 4:30. There's a movie called Wonder. Awesome family film. Right after that, the big game, 6:30.
Will there be a prayer group for the Eagles fans after the game?
Praise group. I think it's a praise band.
Praise group.
Yeah, I think that's all I've got. I did want to say it's not really an announcement, but it is kind of cool. We just kind of glossed over it, but it is a really fun story that you've got. Donna Kelsey, this mother with with a son on the Eagles and a son on the Chiefs, and let's face it, both of them at the highest level for that particular position.
Yes.
And that saint of a woman is going to be praying for the Eagles to win. You know that, but
Have you listened to their podcast?
yeah, it's a great podcast.
I mean, I think this is going to be right up there on the level of theirs.
There we
so,
go.
just after you're done listening to us, feel free to check that one out.
Yeah.
But yes, top
But
tier.
maybe one last announcement. I was talking to our friend Brian Newman. He said he's looking forward to seeing there's going to be 2 He Gets Us ads that
Oh,
are going
yeah.
to be
During
Yeah.
the Super Bowl.
playing during the Super Bowl. And just a phenomenal
Yeah,
campaign.
I was listening
Such an
to
outstanding-
a great a
compelling-
podcast talking about it, and I guess there's 2. There's a 30-second ad and there's a 60-second ad. The 30-second ad is going to happen between the first and second quarter, and kind of like is honestly a little bit of a teaser for the next one. And then the 60-second ad is really apparently they're being really quiet about what it's going to say. But the guy who was in charge of the campaign said is geared towards starting conversations. So
can't wait.
if you're watching the Super Bowl with people who go to church, who go to this church or don't, figure out ways to start a conversation out of that ad. See what their response is. If they have any response, maybe just use it as an opportunity to talk about Jesus during the middle of a football game.
Absolutely.
Their whole tagline is Jesus is going to be at the Super Bowl, which I'll be completely honest, when I first heard, I felt was a tiny bit cheesy. But if it actually stems towards good conversation, which I think all of the ads that I've seen by these people have done already, I think they're very well done. I
Totally agree.
think it's a great opportunity to just start a conversation where it wouldn't grab some wings, talk about Jesus.
Yeah, I agree. So wrapping up, and if you're wondering how do you start up that conversation, because you'd be like, well, what do I say? I think it's simple as, hey, what did you think about that?
Yeah.
As we watch it together, hey, just give me your thoughts, hear what they have to say, and pick your spots. It may just be you listening in that moment. Just to what does it have to say? Continue to watch the game, and maybe it'll spark something a little bit later. So for
You
everyone,
connected it back to that communal experience.
exactly,
That's great.
exactly,
Yeah.
taking advantage of that.
Yep. And if that doesn't work, just go outside and try to climb a pole together.
Cheese whiz oil. All right. Oh yeah. So God bless everyone, and enjoy watching the Super Bowl with your loved ones, and eat some amazing food. And we'll see if the Eagles can prevail or if the Chiefs will prevail.
Yeah, this has been fun. Lots of love to everybody. Shout out to my dad. Thanks for the soundbite, and go Eagles.
Go Mahomes.
Go Jesus. All right, guys.